Okay.
I said you already gave the cow away. Why do you want to give away the bond?
Roll call, Pam.
Wait, we're not on yet.
I thought we were on now.
Well, not right now.
We're rolling.
Yes,
Okay.
but you're not getting that at this second.
Present.
Okay.
Denise?
Present. We didn't actually open the meeting, but okay.
Okay, that's all right. Yvonne, present. Okay.
All right. For those who aren't aware, we are at Charter Review
6:12.
Committee. It's Monday, October 4th, and it is
6:12 p.m.
6:12 p.m. All right. Lots of minutes, Ms. Yvonne.
Well, I gave them to you ahead of time this time. You think it's fun?
No, I don't even think trying to put through all my stuff is fun. Let's see. Chapter.
We are on chapter 14, which is that notes and stuff, so.
Great, I'm just looking at all the miscellaneous from the last time. Fire chiefs.
And we have to, this is another discussion now.
All right, give me a second to take a note.
Okay.
Good. Where are we at? I thought there was a typo, so let's see. Roll call. Consider accept the Charter Review Committee meeting minutes of August 31st.
I'll make a motion for
Oh, wait.
discussion.
Is that right?
September 15th?
No. I'm confused too. Am I on the right? I'm in the wrong thing. Sorry, I looked at the. Yeah, September 15th. Thanks. That's a very good catch. Okay, I'll second. Okay, discussion on the minutes. There's a typo, just
Where?
for notice. Number 4.
Yep.
Within the period provided by the general law. These general law.
Where?
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
Lead? What? We spin and spin. Right. Spin and spin. Yes. And then, let's see, is there something else?
Uh,
Did you find anything, Pam?
Sorry. I
It's
just have to
I'm sorry.
do this email, sorry.
It's okay, we take time.
Sorry.
Just slightly put myself on quiet.
You do a wonderful job, Yvonne. I don't know.
But.
I hate minutes.
But.
Minutes, no, there's no but. Minutes are my...
Takes
I
a long time.
hate minutes.
I'm sorry that some mistakes go through, but.
I don't think I saw. Yvonne, I printed stuff from what you sent, and this page was there, and I'm not sure, was this page supposed to be there?
Apparently not.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
It
It
is?
goes with this.
This? That's what I have.
I wanted you to see what he said about that too.
What didn't make
Well, this is what you need. I just included that whole thing.
Well, I guess it's because the letter from,
Yeah, that
That
was
part
just,
wasn't
yeah,
there.
that's not, yeah. I just wanted this so that everybody would get to that agenda and the flagged items and we'll talk about it.
yeah. Okay, it just didn't, it was like, it didn't, I thought there was, it just, yeah, didn't flow. Okay, but then I was having trouble with the printer and I wondered if I just printed something wrong, somewhere else. All right, I didn't really see, I didn't think there was anything.
I didn't, I went over them quickly earlier and just glancing over them again, and I don't see anything else. They're very comprehensive.
It was weird when it got into the last, under town manager, that the line that said, "In subject to appropriation of sufficient funds by the council." I thought there was, I guess there was another line. I said, didn't we say that line twice somewhere? It was, yeah, it was under the recommendation, yeah. The committee made its discretion subject to appropriation of such funds by council. That was under the legal consultation.
Mhm.
All right, so I did see it twice. All right, just wanted to make sure I did, because the first one I went over and I hadn't noted. All right. So we're good on minutes?
I guess.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. Unanimous by all present. Okay.
Can I say something before we start the agenda?
Sure.
We need, if you wouldn't mind, because we're getting into details where everything has to be so accurate now, if we don't try to jump around to too many different things, because when you do the transcribing in the minutes, it's like all jumbled towards the end and you can't figure anything out. So if we're talking about
Okay.
one agenda item and it goes into another thing, that's one thing, but we can't skip around like we did the last time because it was all over the place.
Okay.
Okay? And I'll tell you if it gets confusing.
So for, once again, we're still on chapter 14, Charter Commission notes.
Yeah.
And let's see. Did we get clarification on the assistant TM?
Not yet.
Okay.
That's still in the works.
So per our minutes on this area from the last time, let's go back. Because I think we did a bunch of, let's see, note 4.
I thought we were pretty much done, but
Yeah.
I wasn't
Five,
sure, and
six.
so I said, I'm just gonna put it on there and we
Seven.
can finish it off if we
We had
did.
it
I
flagged,
just-
but the notes, let's see, note 7 is a flag.
And I had a question mark with the note 6, what you just mentioned.
This is still up in the
Six.
air
Yeah.
because they're still going which way they're gonna go kind of thing, so. So this
Okay.
is still not really a flagged item, but we can't make much of a change to it till that's determined.
Right. Yep. If there is a change to be made, I mean, we don't know.
We don't know.
But we just want to make sure that
That would have to be a
job
charter
is in
change. Right.
whatever that's expected of that position is jives with the charter.
Right, okay. So note 7, the purpose of setting eligible measures promote stability in the management of the town.
Oh, yeah.
We have it, note 7, we have it flagged, but the note makes sense because the purpose of it, whatever it may end up being, is to promote stability in the management of the town's fiscal year. The purpose of section 2-2-1, ineligible measures, is to promote stability in the management of the town's affairs. Did we have more, just how did we? Oh, I see. Well, we jumped around because we ended up reviewing those flagged items, which then made us.
Yep.
So we only got to the 4th. Change section 4, town manager. (4-1). All right. So well then, do we want to go, since we're saying chapter 14, so section 7. We have it flagged back.
So I I read this again and again and again
What did you read again?
on my own, 1221.
Yep.
And it does make sense. These items are not subject to initiative petition or referendum. And that does make sense. So even where it, like 8 and 9, where it says referendum procedures, what that's saying is that the provision for a referendum is already in the charter. So once that decision is made, you can't then again, it's not subject to the initiative petition or referendum. If you don't like the answer that the voters give you, there's not another bite at the apple.
Oh, okay.
That's how
what
I
that
take
means?
this. That's how I take this.
Right, any proceedings repealing or sending a measure or part thereof which is protested by referendum. So if the referendum it's protested because it was a referendum procedure already. You can't have another proceeding to repeal or send
Correct.
part of it.
Correct.
If you didn't get what you wanted, you can't piecemeal it out to
And
get what you want.
Correct.
Wait a minute. Well, no, I was going to say that similar. That kind of got done. We did individual for the marijuana stuff. I remember we did individual, and then they just lumped it all and did one, or they did it reverse. They put it together. They didn't take it apart. Then they made it all one and made it hard. Yeah. Anyway, that's funny. Okay, whatever. That just went on another. Well, it was another proceeding. Yeah.
And that's what we talked about last time, is that
Proceedings
it
providing
made
this
sense
for the
to leave it the way
submission
that
or
it was.
referral to the voters. Any proceedings providing this for the submission or referral to the voters at an election. So that makes any proceedings providing this for the submission. Okay, so you can't protest the proceeding to get it there either. Okay. All right. So then we leave 12.2.1 as it is.
And note 7 makes sense.
So note 7 makes sense.
Yeah.
And 12.2.1 stays. Because we didn't. Oops. There's no other. All right. So, where were we? So if that's it for the commission? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then the commission notes are, with the exception of note 6, the commission notes have been reviewed, and we'll continue to move on to the flagged items as we
Yeah.
started.
And we
And
have
just
to
kinda
hold off
review
on
them.
this for now.
Right, so it's 6.
I don't think it's gonna change. I don't know.
If you,
I don't know. They haven't decided yet what they're gonna do.
whether they're doing, I thought they didn't vote on that already?
Yeah,
Okay, so we don't know what's gonna happen.
but it's amazing, man.
Yeah, that's interesting. So then how do you incorporate something?
Well, I know what's going on. Strong personalities.
Okay, well, moving on then. Okay, so you did flag. Was there more discussion? See, no, we did number 2. We did
We
number
did 243, 222, 245. We have 424, we
Motion to
have
amend
until
flagged
next
items,
meeting.
change it to read 6. Town manager, change to read 1373. Engage discussion.
Now, you asked me to,
Agreed to flag 424 to the next meeting.
right, and you asked me to talk to him about legal matters and stuff like that. So he told me that we could talk about them in a week or so after, because he's got a lot on his plate.
Okay.
So I'll get with him to the legal questions that we have, hopefully next week.
Okay.
Okay?
So we'll just hang off on the
Mhm.
424.
Yep.
All right. Or 414 discussion.
Did you mention that to anyone else?
What's that? The language, if the charter's legal or not?
No. But the section,
The strong chiefs?
Yeah.
Chapter 48?
yeah,
No.
no.
No, because I was supposed to show it to him and ask him his legal opinion, and I
Yeah.
can't go to a legal attorney unless he gives us permission. So he said that he would talk to me about all this stuff. And I said I have a couple of other items too, I think, so that we want a clarification on, so. And that's why I tried to get an answer on the sixth thing too, but
Well, I think
I
his,
think.
his opinion is very important.
Mhm.
With a lot of these things.
Because I had told him, I said, do you want me to review this with you, or do you give me permission to call KP? And he said, no, I'll do it with this.
Okay.
I think he should be the first viewer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Before
absolutely.
we take any.
And to
There's no
weigh
need
in.
to- Yeah, let him just weigh in
Yeah.
and see if he has an opinion before we
do anything with
ask
it.
permission from somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
Sufficient funds to ask an opinion.
Well, that's the way I asked him about
Right.
it, so.
Right. Okay. So then, well, there was 414 and 424. Because 412, 414.
424 is what I have here that goes with that email.
Right, but we
Yeah.
were having an issue with the right? Because I have a note.
I had that we got through the 422. We addressed all the flagged, right?
Mhm.
Through the 422.
Yep.
So why do we have 414 though under this minute says discussion? We need a legal opinion. Appointment is forever unless the contract and the appointment are terminated at the same time. Expiration of contract must be expiration of appointment. Hold until legal opinion received. That's what we have in the minutes from Yvonne from last
Yep.
time on the 414. 414 was part of the town manager section.
Right.
And it was, upon appointment or reappointment, as the case may be, the council shall enter into a written contract with the manager. Nothing in said contract shall affect the appointment or removal powers of the council over the manager as herein set forth.
And we were gonna look about the expiration of the contract of appointment and appointment being the same.
Right. Although, it's interesting, nothing in said contract shall affect the appointment or removal powers. So
But we,
technically, if you put if his appointment and his contract expires at the same time, does that not affect the appointment? Now that I read it a second time.
but that was all the big to-do about it, that we couldn't do anything before, because the appointment was,
Right, no, we were told
So-
the appointment's forever, which makes no
Yeah,
sense because
that's why-
in our charter, it says upon appointment or reappointment. Why would you need reappointment if the appointment is forever?
And
Technically,
that's not the case.
it's not the case. And let me, this is maybe a good time, even though it's not technically the section I would have brought it up at, I'm going to bring it up because you had asked about, we had talked about calling the Attorney General's office. So it took weeks to get a call back, and then I got a call back, and then I call again, and because now I got to go to the
is
municipal
this
people.
414 we're talking?
It's still 414, because I'm giving you, this is a point.
Yeah, that's
This
okay.
is a very strong point for this charter.
Yep.
It's very important that it applies to all of this charter. So when I questioned quasi-judicial board appointments and removal powers and stuff like that, because we'll go back to that, our charter had that weird thing. And it applies to this, because I said to her, is there anything if you come across this before, in terms of their quasi-judicial board members, can they be unappointed in the same manner? The charter isn't clear. And I've looked at some other communities, and she said, your charter comes up to the state, and once it's your charter. What you put in your charter is yours. You have to police it. You have to oversee it and those are your rules for your community. So I say, you have to know that you're not going against any kind of anything, obviously any rules or mandates of whatever it is, but state statute.
That's what their review is all about.
Their review, right. So what you ask them about an opinion is how can I appoint or unappoint somebody who's on a quasi-judicial board? that's up to you. Your power. So what I've read in federal law, when I looked up appointments and reappointments, or appointments and removals, it was always like the appointing authority has the right to remove somebody. So that's what I was kind of finding in my research, and then that's why I questioned her, and I said that to the lawyer I was talking with. I said, well, I see federal says the appointment powers are the removal powers are within the appointment powers, the same thing, the same people. And she said, it's what you choose for your community, but you are you have to enforce it. It's your...
We're the police of the
You're
charter.
the police of the charter. The council is the police of the charter, technically. Or the people, because the people could obviously revolt and say, you're all against the charter, you're illegal, and then I don't recall everybody. I'm not really sure. Obviously, I guess that's what you do. But the point being, I guess I'm making up here too, is this needs to be written that works for, so I don't even know, upon appointment, reappointment, okay. This paragraph about the town manager and appointments and removals and whatever, it needs to be in line with what the appointment is, say.
In the contract.
It can be, right. In other words, we can put in this charter, or council, the community can agree to what's in this charter, and that's the rule. That's what it is. So what's written here, if it's confusing, or doesn't have what it needs, or needs more,
Right.
we can do that.
It's confusing, because it says nothing in said contract shall affect the appointment.
And what gets me is when we're told by a lawyer, a regular lawyer, municipal law, but still a lawyer, a union lawyer. Oh no, appointments are forever unless you. And I say, our charter says this. Why would it say reappointment if there was never going to be a reappointment? And he argued there was some statute, some law, some protection for somebody that, oh no, they're two separate votes, and you have to, and I was like, but the state's telling me we go by our charter.
But if we write in our charter that the appointment of the town manager shall, I don't know, whatever, mirror the length of the contract, it is what it is.
And right, if we put that in here, upon termination,
Right, whatever that may be.
expires as
Right.
well. Because
You may-
right now what it says is nothing in the contract shall affect the appointment or the removal.
Right, but if the charter says
Right.
that the
Right.
length of the appointment shall equal the length of the contract, it is what it is. Whether it be 1, 3, or 5 years, or
Unless
whatever.
removal by, because here they're also saying removal, but it will not affect the removal powers of the council over the manager. In other words,
Right, after due process, that's
Right.
something
right.
different.
But you have to, I think you have to make sure that it's a combination paragraph.
So when you
Yeah.
do process and you don't want to renew the contract, you also have to specify you don't want to renew the appointment.
Don't know, we're saying the appointment terminates with the contract.
Right,
With
but
the
it has to
contract.
be
If you,
specific.
that's
Right.
right. It has to be
Yeah.
noted that the term of the appointment is in conjunct. No, I don't know what do you call it?
Coincides with the
mirrors,
term of the
whatever, yeah.
contract,
Yeah.
track, whatever it is. And it could be, like I said, could be a different
Now, if you-
length of time.
Now, if the contract runs out and you decide you're going to renew his contract, is there anything that says we're reappointing him too? Or is it just, it's automatically he's reappointed when we renew his contract?
Well, see, that's the thing. You want to make sure you
And that's
you
what I'm saying,
reappoint him.
we need to, if we're going to we need to reappoint him when we renew the contract. And if
Right,
we
that could all be
don't-
part of one vote, though.
Well, it can be, but it has to
Vote
be.
to appoint.
Vote to
Yeah,
appoint or
and
reappoint.
Exactly.
Maybe
And
it's two
yeah.
lines. Maybe the reappointment's different than the appointment. Maybe you separate it out.
Yeah.
Because here originally it was offering you vote and then you offer a contract or whatever. It was something about that.
Upon
Right
appointment.
here, appoint the town manager who shall administer the directors. Okay, so it says the council votes majority vote to appoint a town manager. Then there's one in here that says, where's that line? Resident section stuff.
It says
Isn't there
right
one
here,
that says, yeah, what is
shall
it?
appoint a town manager. The vote of its members shall appoint a town manager. And it says in seeking the chair will appoint a certain as a such committee. The manager shall be appointed solely on the basis of whatever. So it says throughout that he's appointed.
Right, but there,
Nothing in the
something about
contract shall
offering a-
affect that appointment. That's what it says in 4-14.
I
So what if
understand.
something in that appointment, in that contract does affect that appointment?
That's what I was trying to just say. That's why,
Yeah.
well, this is what it says now. The question is whether
What do we
this
want it to say?
414 is, it's very confusing, and it implies there's a reappointment, and yet we were told, you know, that wasn't the case. Oh, no, he's always appointed. Well, how can he be appointed unless, if the contract's over? If you don't give him a contract.
I mean, council,
Where's the
council
line?
and council, COUNSEL, and town council should ensure that the contract is not, follows the charter. It should even be referenced in that contract. Shame on them if the contract,
I don't know, too, because there was the boilerplate originally from MMA, which was very boilerplate. And then there was the one that we spent 10 months working on and looking at about 30 other communities to see things that you have people, we can't put that in a contract. Really? Well, they did. They made it stronger. They made it better for themselves, for the community. Those were the things we were looking at when we were going over.
Do you
potential
think we should take a copy of the contract and see how it reads to
We could.
coincide it with this?
Yeah, we could do
We
that.
could do that.
I mean,
maybe.
it's not up to us to dictate the contract,
No,
but,
Oh, okay, so this is
or
the line.
negotiate, but still, just,
The line that always gets me here is and that's why, I don't know why it was right in front of me, but I'm looking through everything else. The council should, upon appointment or reappointment, as the case may be, the council shall enter into a written contract with the manager. That's the line. So you have an appointment, and then you have a written contract. So that's great. That makes sense. You appoint him, and you agree to a contract. That's when all of a sudden we go in, we negotiate some more, and then he agrees to the contract. Although I think he'd agree to the contract before we appoint him, because why would you appoint somebody if then they don't
well,
agree?
you would appoint subject to
Subject to-
ratification of an agreement.
Right. I think that's, what we usually
Yep.
do, yeah. Of course, that's not, again, how it technically reads. So, again, it's not how it reads. It just reads, shall enter into a written contract. But what if you can't come up to you know what I mean?
It's because
So
you
this
need
is
that
wrong.
language in the vote, that it's subject to.
Right.
If you can't come up with if you can't agree to a contract, then it's null and void.
Right. Yeah.
Usually they do his contract and then his term becomes effective when he signs the contract or at that council meeting. That's the way it's always been.
Right.
But those dates need to be in that contract.
But there's
Yeah.
going to be an appointment vote, and you have
We
to.
don't ever have, I don't think we ever have an appointment vote. We vote to appoint the contract,
No,
but
vote
we-
to ratify the contract.
to ratify the contract. But
And
we
that's-
don't vote to appoint him as a town manager.
Oh, see,
Well,
that has to
No,
happen.
of course you have to have it, and that's what I said
That's what
did
I'm
not
saying.
happen the last time. And when I brought that up to the attorney, he didn't have a whole lot to say except, but that appointment is forever. But what if we didn't actually vote to appoint him? Well, you can't get into that because then that would mean
But it's
everything
not
he did was
forever.
illegal.
It's not
No.
forever if you put in your vote that it's a 3-year appointment with a fixed term.
I understand.
Then it's not forever.
But what if you don't have the vote to appoint? Then everything that manager did on behalf of the town was technically illegal. Brought that up. That didn't go over so well. Oh yeah. So, long and short, it's a bit.
I mean, we can only do so much.
Right.
The language, we have to make sure the language is as tight as it can be, and then it's up to
We don't
town
want it to-
council and council COUNSEL. It's up to the attorneys and town council to make sure that it's not in violation or in conflict with the charter.
Right.
That's their responsibility.
Right. But the charter needs to be clear so that it
Correct.
doesn't tie the council's hands to a bad manager or whatever, administrator, in our case manager. Yeah.
Well, if the council decides and says we're not going to renew his contract, period. So then they should if they all agree to that, they should also all agree not to reappoint.
Correct.
So.
Right, 'cause
shouldn't
it doesn't
be-
make
It
sense.
doesn't make sense that there's a conflict.
Correct.
But then again, that should be negotiated way before it gets to the council to decide. So it maybe it's just the way it's worded, I don't know, but if they don't want to reappoint, if they don't want to redo his contract, then they shouldn't want him to hold that job. So that reappointment should not be there either.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
So, on all that note,
I mean, if there's an issue with renegotiating a contract, you could even, vote to appoint for whatever, a month or 2 months.
We went through that one.
And then extend the current contract for a period of a month or 2 months while you're negotiating a new one. If you can't come to terms, then you say your goodbyes and part ways.
And see, that's where we had a problem before because the reappointment was indefinite.
Yeah, see, that's,
So
I don't
for 3
understand
years
that at
we
all.
did
this lawyer said he wrote the statute on it. I had no idea what he's doing. And yet when I brought that up to another lawyer from the firm, it was denied. It was like, oh my God, he says that all the time. Like, not denied, but that hangs his hat on it. So I was like, look, we're in a rock and a hard place with this situation, and like we couldn't get any.
I mean, it doesn't make sense to,
I think we need to understand this segment. In my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong, but if the words say upon appointment or reappointment, that means there are 2 potential actions for a manager. They
Yes.
get appointed or they get reappointed. You can only be reappointed if you were already appointed at one point, and for some reason it needs to be reappointed because it doesn't exist, or it's run out, or it's
Right.
expired.
right.
So that's clear. I just didn't know why legal didn't see it that way. As the case may be, and that's what it says. The council shall enter into a written contract.
See, but I don't understand that because,
Well, it says that the council can,
I think that's only specific to contracts.
they still have power over the manager. Could be like 2 separate things.
Right.
Like say upon appointment, the council shall enter into a contract with the manager. And then you could say said appointment and contract to coincide or something like that. Upon appointment, the council shall enter.
Some stores and different things, and depending on what he says, it will depend on my vote.
But that's a nice
And I
tight shot. I
said,
never get one
excuse me,
microphone,
did I
right?
just, I hope I didn't hear what I just thought I heard, because every vote should be about community, not
We're all set,
on one's
ladies.
own personal benefit at the end. And I left it at that, right?
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Have a good one.
Are we on?
Guys.
Yeah, you're on right now.
Uh-oh.
So,
Hey.
you're on right now, so.
You might want to cut out that first part I said.
Congrats,
Or not.
Max.
What's that?
Congrats, you made
Thank
it.
you. I appreciate
You're gonna
it.
join the world of
Yeah.
us retirees.
Semi-leisure. So is my lady here.
Yes, very soon.
Jesus,
Yeah.
all ladies
This place
around
is
here,
falling
you know?
apart.
They're dropping like flies.
Another one over the, 2 more over the wall.
63, that's old enough.
73.
I see this
Yeah,
side.
Max, you got a ways to go. You should stick around.
Yeah, I know.
Um, so anyway, when that was over, I went over to the person that was in there with me, and I said, "Did you hear that?" And that person said, "Didn't he recuse himself? Isn't that an ethical violation?"
We get so many of them.
Can you imagine? Like, and I didn't plan that. That was just because I was painting, and
It's my house.
oop, it's gone. See, you got to stay here. Ah, it's getting there.
It's constructing my house.
They're constructing
Look at
your
me.
house.
Oh, there you go.
You'll
Yep.
just cut out all this stuff.
Isn't it exciting?
It is. A contract with the manager.
See, that's the other problem. As it says, nothing shall affect the appointment or removal powers of the council over the manager as hereinafter set forth. The problem we had, I thought we fixed it in one of the sections, is the removal, and we talked about the removal, and I thought we changed some things, because the removal did not talk about the appointment. It only talked about voting to remove the town manager, and that was in the other section.
So-
We changed it, though.
41108N is what dictates provides for the contract for town manager, administrator, executive secretary.
48?
No, 41, chapter 41, section 108N. In the last paragraph, so this is what the attorney was saying to you.
Yep.
The last paragraph of this, so it provides for, and it shall be in accordance with and subject to the provisions of the city or town charter, and shall prevail over any conflicting provisions. And then the last paragraph says, nothing contained in this section shall affect the appointment or removal powers of any city or town over its town manager, town administrator, executive secretary.
Okay, but before that though, so what did it?
This allows for there are only certain positions in a town that can have a legal contract, that if
Right.
you went to court, it would be upheld by court.
Right.
If you give your library director a contract, that's nice, it's not worth the paper it's
Right.
printed on.
Right, it's just an agreement.
There's only certain ones, town accountants, police chiefs, fire chiefs,
Right.
executive
Funds-
secretaries,
funds.
town managers, town administrators. They have the ability under the law to have a contract.
Okay,
That's what this provides for. But then it says, nothing contained in this section shall affect the appointment or removal powers of any city or town over its manager. So that's something separate. So I think that's why this says,
nothing
in the contract shall affect.
So that's according to
I think
section 41, I mean,
108N.
chapter
Should we
41.
put that in there maybe? According to section whatever, nothing in this contract.
Well,
Or according,
but again,
That's where they got that language from. It's right in the statute.
but if this, right, so if this, so then what is their, shall affect the appointment or removal powers of council? I get that, but we, like I said, it was argued up that we had to vote to unappoint even though, regardless of what was going on with the contract.
So nothing in the contract shall affect. However, and then keep reading, as hereinafter set forth. The appointment and removal powers of the council over the manager are then in section, wherever it is.
Right, that's what I was trying to go to. This thing.
So where is that?
Removal of the manager, section 6. It was like nothing, and we changed it.
We did. Removal of the town, we changed it to removal of the town manager prior to the expiration of their term of appointment shall be effected by a 2/3 vote of the entire council, i.e. minimum of 6 votes at an open council meeting. So we put that in there,
That was chapter 4.
461.
Wait, say what, just go for it again.
We said removal
Yep,
of the town manager
Right.
prior to the expiration of their term of appointment shall be effected by a 2/3 vote of the entire, the rest stayed the same.
right. So that still implicates that there was an appointment
Correct.
vote.
And then,
So okay, now he's removed. Removal of the town manager prior to the expiration term of appointment. So we put nothing in there that the appointment will terminate with the contract.
no,
Right. It says how remove him prior to the expiration of the term of his appointment. How do we unappoint him? Or do we not need to? That's where we kept saying that we wanted the contract should always read that this contract and the appointment shall
correct.
terminate.
well, we put in here too,
Cons-
appointment term shall immediately rescind. Appoint, said appointment.
Oh, what
Did we
you
put that
say?
in there?
Yeah,
I thought there was,
It says removal of the manager shall be a 2/3 vote of the entire council at an open meeting, i.e. a minimum of 6 votes prior to the expiration of their term of appointment at an open meeting. Appointment term shall immediately rescind said appointment.
Okay, so we did put that language in there. Okay, so I
rescinding the
didn't,
appointment.
I didn't write it all down. Okay,
Okay.
perfect. So that's,
Alright, then it's in
that
there.
does it.
Okay, so that works
And that's
for
in
that.
461.
All right, so then the question is whether 414, upon appointment or removal, as the case may be, the council shall enter into a written contract with the manager. I guess you can leave it in then.
Yeah,
I really hope some other future lawyer understands the concept of appointments or reappointments, because, you know, that makes... If the...
Can't
if
you
his
put the same thing
contract-
in there?
If his contract expires, his appointment expires.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, he needs to be reappointed. I mean, I don't know. It's very frustrating. I don't know, what do you think?
Well, if you just said at the renewal of the contract, the council shall reappoint the manager to coincide with the contract or something like that? No? Make the appointment and the reappointment separate.
so you're like something,
Upon
What if you do in
upon-
the very beginning, on the first one, 411, where it says, by a majority vote of, you know, shall appoint a town manager, why isn't it shall appoint or reappoint? Why isn't it up there? Who shall, you know, why isn't that appointment and qualifications? Isn't that the same idea?
yeah? Yep,
And then that way it makes sense, 414 makes sense.
Yep.
Up here it's explicit, down here it's appointment or reappointment.
So
Because
you-
this is about the contract, this is about the vote.
Mhm.
I mean, you could have put them together by saying who administers, you know, and we'll get into well, he ministers, and then you could have said in the written contract, but you can leave it two. If you leave it two, then I think I'd put up the same thing up here then.
so in 411,
The town council by a majority
Shall
vote of
appoint
its
or
full
reappoint.
members
shall appoint or reappoint a town manager.
As the case may be.
That makes
Because that's what
sense.
it says too. I don't know.
Reappoint a town manager as the case may be. You want me to add
You want to leave
that?
that in? Or not? It doesn't really matter, I guess. In this case, it's a reappointment as the case may be.
Yeah, it
At
doesn't
this
matter.
point,
Okay,
just
so
say
I'm not doing
reappointment,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
That might do it.
So shall appoint or reappoint a town manager.
Right.
Shall.
That tells you it's definitely a vote of 5 members here, because down here it doesn't tell you what you're reappointing by, you know, what's your vote upon reappointment, upon appointment or reappointment, it doesn't say.
I think I would though, what Yvonne just said, shall appoint or reappoint, comma, as the case may be,
Okay, so that's what it says in the
comma,
lower
a
one.
town manager, yep,
Okay, that's what it says in the bottom.
yep. I think I would put that
So
there.
reappoint as the
It
case may
mirrors
be.
the,
Comma, as the case may be, comma,
Mm-hmm.
a town manager who shall administer, yep,
and then down bottom, it makes sense, because
Yep.
then the appointment or reappointment shall enter into written contract, nothing in the contract shall affect the appointment and rule powers of the council of the manager.
yep, and that's right out of the law.
It's
That
out of law
lang-
and
That language,
and it mirrors
What law
411
was
and
that again?
414.
yeah.
What was that thing again you said? Where did it come from?
Chapter 41, section 108N.
Okay.
So do we have to vote on that?
Yes, motion made to accept the change,
So moved.
to add or reappoint a town manager as the case may be to section 4-1-1.
She made the motion, I'll second it.
All in
Favor?
favor?
Aye.
Unanimous of all present. What in the world did they do? This is hilarious.
You're getting people texting you when that
Yeah, my
that item
son.
comes
It's
up?
my son. It was pretty funny. So sorry, I've had such little time for
I just need to put that down.
family lately.
Okay,
All right. Let's see. Okay. Well, that was good.
okay, so,
All right. So which one is that? Let's see. That's 414.
Yep.
We did it without a legal opinion, so to speak. 424 we're still waiting on. And
we
now
have
that
to, no,
brings us-
well, 424,
Yeah,
but this, yeah. Okay, so we
Right.
have to wait.
but at least we got through the other one. Okay. Now, agenda item 3 was held for this part of the new charter minutes, and part 2 changed 12 from its to paragraph. That was it. Page 4 removed 7 out of the paragraph on agenda item. Oh, that was okay. So then that was just the review of the minutes. So we finished then at agreed to flag item 424. So what's next? There's our flags.
442?
What do we do with all my
4.2,
flags?
further homework research of 1973 charter town clerk to seek direction from the finance director.
Oh, yeah, said power shall not apply to quasi-judicial bodies as determined by the town attorney.
Right. I have to find that.
Right, so what does that mean?
Where are we at? Wait, should I?
442.
Right, I'm right. Sorry. I'm missing my, my flags page. 442. Okay.
So, there's two ways to take this. Does the town attorney determine the quasi-judicial body? Or did the town attorney determine that said power shall not apply to quasi-judicial bodies?
Right, exactly.
We don't know.
And prior to that, I'm pretty sure we tried to use it to apply. And as I said, what was said by the Attorney General in regard to this, because I even told her, I said, we somehow had the town attorney involved. And she said, it's up to you and your town, how you want a voted member, because appointed member, to be removed, and for what reasonings or logic or whatever. She did suggest, looking at other communities, and I had done that. There was New Hampshire, New Jersey, where they had a pretty interesting explanation of quasi-judicial boards, and they're supposed to be judicial. They have powers that most don't, and they're supposed to act unbiased. And there's all these things about a quasi-judicial board who have the right to have hearings and impose fees and all kinds of penalties. So this is what Jersey was talking about, but they were also saying there are times when a member, as noted by other members or the community or whatever, starts to act in a manner that is just very, very visibly wrong. In some, you can see their bias, you can see their whatever, the prejudice to things, and that is when somebody needs to step in and say something. So I had a conversation with a counselor who we talked a little bit about this, and I've had conversations with others. But in this, we talk about past issues where there's been issues on, say, Concom or different boards. Well, then he said, well, the town manager who appoints these people, needs to be aware. Well, I said, yes, but to me, in my opinion, the boards themselves, the chair, whatever, has to bring that. You're not going to expect the town manager to be at every quasi-judicial, meeting. That's why you have a board. So, but it has to be brought. And then at that point, the TM would have to review, and he's the appointing authority on most of these, or on all of these boards. Of course, they're ratified by council. So then, do they go back and does the unappointment get confirmed as well?
Well, so there's always due process involved.
Right.
And many of the quasi-judicial boards, I only know this because I'm going through it right now with a member of one of my quasi-judicial boards. My board is, because the Board of Selectmen is the appointing authority. And, they look at it that this is an appointed board and they serve at the pleasure of the Board of Selectmen.
Exactly.
And when they start,
the Attorney General said.
okay, so that's funny because counsel,
legal counsel will say otherwise.
legal counsel says no. You can't remove a member of a quasi-judicial board. But looking into it, our town clerk looked into it even more, and in MGL, there is it's a due process, of course, after a hearing and all of that.
Right.
But you can
It's the same. You have to
rescind the appointment, right?
Your charter directs you.
See, we
how
don't
that
have a
should-
charter, so.
Oh, well, in our case we do.
We have no
which
charter.
is why, see, you have no charter, which could be even slightly different in that respect, that your charter directs you as to how you want to remove members of
Correct.
appointed boards. That's the law. That's what your town voted on. That's how it works.
And even if it wasn't specified in the charter, state law would then, and there is a process.
Right. Right. So, I mean, I question the AG's office, the municipal portion of the AG's office. She did not make a big deal about the state law. She didn't say, because I said, well, what do you do? And she said, that's up to you in your charter. It's what's in your charter.
See, and council said you can't do it.
Well, somebody's.
That's not the truth, because
So-
it's right in the, for us, who don't have a charter, it's right in the statute. So yes, we can,
Right.
after due process.
Right.
And everyone should have due process.
So you have right, I mean, but other appointed official people, other people are appointed to, we're appointed to this board. You know, it's not quasi-judicial, but we are appointed, and our charter says, you know, that you can be unappointed. So, yeah. So anyway, the power to rescind appointments says the town manager shall have the power to rescind subject to confirmation by the council for cause including but not limited to all those things. And that was the
Right,
problem.
again, due process.
Quasi-judicial boards, a lot of absenteeism, a lot of, you know, that type of thing too. You have to have a way to get rid of an ongoing, somebody who can't stay on forever. They're, you know, yes, they have a term of appointment generally, so you don't have to reappoint them. But if there's a problem and, you know, you're
They
1 year
do
out.
get reappointed, don't they?
Yeah, because they have a
Everybody else.
specific term
Yeah,
of
you're 1 year
appointment.
out of
Specific
3.
term.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, we've known of instances where nobody, you know, brings it really forward and the person just goes on and lingers on a board. So you need to sometimes cut the cord if it's noticed because, yeah. it's
And there's
just-
no requirement to reappoint,
Right, right,
that there's nothing.
right.
Because we had in our notes to discuss the statute.
So I'm not,
information.
you know, I don't know this idea of as determined by the town attorney, I think is,
Well, the question is, what does that mean? So,
we need
a
to.
quasi judicial board is not determined by the town attorney, it's determined, it actually says it.
The power can be within the appointing authority can have the same power with, you know, like you say, it could go through with due process. Do you have to state the you know, they have a right to a hearing, they have a right to, but even then, you know, they have the right, but then the vote is still going to be the vote. In the end, ultimately, it's going to be a recommendation from the appointing authority to the council to
There has to be
confirm
good reason.
the removal. In the end.
So I don't even think, I think we should just remove 442.
Right.
We talked about
because
that before.
Yeah,
It's to be heard, because it's the same deal, it's the same
Right.
thing. And according to the Attorney General's office, it's the town.
correct.
So we need to, but this needs to be, this is important. Well, obviously, we do everything, as I've said to anybody I've talked to, we strike outs and we don't just make things disappear and say we don't want it because
Correct.
they won't know. So, you know, again, conversation was had at the top and so I say if you leave it, then why shouldn't it? Why should it not apply to quasi-judicial boards?
Correct.
It makes no sense.
I agree.
That suddenly gives them some sort of for life judge power situation, you know, in
Yeah.
a sense, and it's just not right. If there's a problem, they have to come to task too.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we remove 442.
I'll second the
Strike
motion.
for whatever we do.
So we're gonna take it up completely.
Yep.
And the reason why?
Because there's no reason why they're not subject to the same
Quasi-board are subject to the same,
power to rescind in appointments under section 441.
After researching and conversation with the Attorney General's office,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
charters can stipulate
after checking with Attorney G's charter can stipulate
the desires of the community or, you know, charter.
desires of the chart,
Yeah,
of the community and its charter.
yeah.
Okay,
Sounds fine.
okay.
Did we second it and take them?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Good.
And we,
She was just looking for some more information.
I'm good.
all right, 625.
That's a presentation. Oh, this is, you didn't tell me there's a presentation tonight.
No, there's a curbside collection presentation,
Oh, okay.
33 pages worth.
Oh, they've moved this.
Mhm.
Where did they move it to?
625,
So 625.
chapter 6.
Is today? I don't see that vote on here.
What vote? It's on there.
Oh, so, I didn't get to look at we have a bylaw for private ways. We wanted to make sure it wasn't in conflict with the charter.
Mhm. I'm gonna have to put all my chapters together. I have them where they were discussed instead, and that's confusing.
Okay, really?
Let's see.
What's the matter?
It's not on here. Can you tell me where it's on here?
It was,
You tell me where it is. And if it gets discussed tonight, it's illegal. I just took this off the website.
maybe it wasn't supposed to be discussed tonight, and that's why they took it off. $365,000. I think they decided to wait. I really do. I don't remember offhand.
Well, it's not here, and I was told by everybody it was going to be. It's not here.
To waive electrical plumb right here.
Oh, you kidding?
Nope, it's right
hidden
there.
in a.
No, it's not. It's vote to waive electrical plumbing gas permits at 68th Street for the 25 K Street project. It was debated up and down whether they were gonna put it on there, and I didn't,
That's how they write it.
that's how they wrote it.
Wow. Okay. Well, that'll be a little while. I think we got about a half hour. Did you get a presentation? You can put it on and see where they're at.
Hmm?
Okay.
Okay. I have a heart attack, they did.
You almost gave me one, too.
Section 6. No, chapter 6 we're looking at, right?
So, I mean, specifically looking at the standards for repairs to private ways, it goes through the town manager and the DPW director.
It goes through, the DPW subcommittee, and then they have to have a petition,
Yeah.
and then they get $500,
Yeah.
and it's only once a year.
Right, unless it's something different
Unless
than
it's something
then
that really is an emergency situation or something comes up and
Suppose you don't have any.
we have a private way. We have a petition submitted to council, to the traffic commission, then to DPW, and then to council.
Yeah, it's funny though, this doesn't say, this doesn't take into account the new law though, the update to the law. Maybe I don't have the newest bylaws. Okay.
So we do have a
Yeah.
process for private ways. It's been the same ever since I've been here.
All right, so I don't see anything wrong with that then.
I don't either.
625.
Bylaw review research.
I mean, it goes through a very big process before it gets done.
Yep.
It's in each petition, all it says is. Each petition submitted to the council referred to the department should be returned to the council.
Didn't we put town manager in there?
That's in 6.
625.
have that same, what do I have, 262?
What did we discuss that? Do you have the date there?
Something like that. And I had interest.
Because I think, oh boy,
I
yeah.
don't have it there either. Let's see. That's what I made notes on something. 666. It's too far. Oop, I just have it circled.
Who does the petition go to? I think that was the question.
It goes to the Traffic Commission first, and then it goes to DPW Subcommittee.
Well, in here though, it says anything going to the council gets submitted to, so I
Right.
guess if it's to the council, but.
And it goes to the council.
So should we just put
It does get approved
each
by
petition
council.
submitted to the town? Because the petition may be submitted, I mean, it's not just this, but this was just one that came to mind, I guess. So,
Well,
But when you say petition, I mean, it doesn't even describe what you're doing here. It's just each petition submitted to the, should we,
well, this is specifically
do
under
anything.
chapter 6
Yeah, we didn't-
DPW.
I
didn't
understand
do
that.
anything with that.
But each petition, define petition. Petition for what? Petition,
this is a petition, this I think is meant to be
For
for
private
private
ways.
ways only.
Yeah.
I don't
it's
think it's
private
a
ways
petition for anything
Doesn't
else.
say it.
No, it doesn't.
I'm just saying, it says each petition. Each petition for work, for,
Ladies, can I talk into wearing a mask, please?
I thought we didn't have to if we were
We had a
sick.
meeting the other night.
that was six.
Somebody showed up without a mask and
I thought
tested
we
positive
was-
for COVID the next day.
Well,
Oh, well.
I appreciate it.
so that, it doesn't say that at all.
It doesn't say, let me see.
I just see nothing it refers to, so it's a bit vague in that respect.
Nope. So maybe we need to add that because
Petition for public work or something like that, each petition for, because it might not just be a private way, it might be somebody saying, I'd like my sidewalk fixed, I'd like,
that too,
the
that,
root-
that's been done before where
But
they've
those
done
are-
a petition to get their sidewalks
Right.
fixed. We've never done anything with that, but we have gotten petitions for that.
there's petitions for a crosswalk, there's petitions for a
handicap sign.
Okay, so
There's
what if
petitions
we say each petition
I would say for public-
submitted pursuant to the town bylaws?
Oh, is that so we're pulling it out of the,
Because that's where they are. The way you do this.
for public works though,
Right, but I mean, I don't know if you, I mean, it's under DPW.
right?
So, and it says, so each petition submitted pursuant to the town bylaws and referred to the Department of Public Works shall be returned to the town council.
Right.
Because the way you submit the petition is outlined
It's different.
in the
It's
bylaws.
bylaws, yeah.
All right, so each petition. What did you say? Submitted?
Oh, submitted
Pursuant.
pursuant to the town bylaws.
So each petition submitted.
Pursuant to the bylaws and and referred to the Department of Public Works. So take out to the town council.
Okay.
And the rest stays the same. I mean, because in the future you may add more petitions to be submitted to DPW to be acted on, so
Okay. You want to make a motion to that?
that's a motion.
Second.
Everyone in favor?
Mm-hmm.
All in- Okay. So put a date next to this one, so I know that's when we did that one. Okay, what's the other flag one?
Okay.
So, 1061?
I couldn't find anything from the charter before.
Alright,
I'll tell you, these charters that were done before, and nothing, we don't know when anything was done.
Hmm.
The 1988 one, it looks, all it is, it's got the changes in it.
Removed from 1998 when, where is the source? Where's the?
Can't find where the source
So you
is.
can't find the one before that one?
I looked at the 1998 one and there was nothing that I could see. And then, but that's when it was submitted to the Attorney General's office, so there's nothing that shows any changes. They all look like this,
Yeah.
you know? Now, I guess when we do this one, it's not gonna get submitted with the changes identified, so I don't know.
Hmm?
Let me look for chapter 10.
All right, 6-1. Yeah, so the issue is, it doesn't say they have to balance it. So 6 votes, they can increase any amount total of the proposed budget. But, I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. You need to balance the budget. There's no language that says they have
There's
to
nothing
do
that says it's a balanced budget when he presents it. Is that what you're saying?
No. He presents a balanced
Yeah.
budget. But this says that council, decreasing, deleting or decreasing any programs or amounts, expenditures required by law for debt service, that's fine. But it may by 2/3 vote of the full council, a minimum of 6 votes, increase any amount in or the total of the proposed budget. It should also say that there has to be corresponding revenues to do that. You can't, they could, with all due respect to the members of the town council, many of them do not understand that you need to have a balanced budget. And if they have a pet project and they want to increase the budget to fund it, and they get 5 other votes, that can be done, and yet now you have an unbalanced budget.
I don't think it ever goes up there without being unbalanced or changes made that don't.
Right, but, this gives a counselor the ability, with 5 of their colleagues, the ability to increase the budget. Any line item or the total. So
Well, it says.
they have to make a corresponding increase on the revenue side too. Do they understand that? In many cases, yes, but I'm sure in some cases, no. And there's nothing to prevent that from happening here. And then that just causes a whole administrative headache for
And that,
the town
I think it's
manager
because
and finance.
it says that the council shall adopt the budget with or without amendments. So they can adopt it with amendments without knowing if there's a revenue.
Correct.
So that's where
It's the problem.
That's the problem.
In the old one, it was except on the recommendation of the town manager, it shall not increase any amount in or the total of the proposed budget.
Yeah,
And
that should stay there.
that should be in there. That should stay in there.
Because it was.
What is that one
Is
in,
that to assume that if the town manager recommends something, it's because he knows he can pay for it? I mean,
Yeah,
Well,
I would
yeah,
think
because-
so.
Adoption of the budget shall constitute an appropriation of the amount specified therein as expenditures from the funds indicated. That's all it says.
So, the council, 6 councilors could propose an amendment to increase. However, with, what did that say, Denise?
It
The town
says,
manager?
except on recommendations of the town manager, it shall not increase any amount in or the total of the proposed budget.
See, I like that. That's the way it should be.
Now, and it says adoption of the budget shall constitute an appropriation
Yeah, that's
of the
fine.
amount specified within the expenditure.
But
But the line about not increasing it.
right, they should be voting on the town manager's budget. Unless there's a discussion on the floor and they want to increase something and the town manager says, okay, we'll increase local receipts. I want to increase the police overtime by $5,000. Okay, we'll increase local receipts. We have some wiggle room. We can increase local receipts by 5,000. Make the change and then you can vote the amendment.
Right.
And then, but
But the council can't do it on their own.
well, right now they can.
Right, I understand that.
But
And
I
then-
don't think that's good in any way, shape,
So
or
what if
form.
people say, well, how do we, what if the manager says to increase the budget well, of course they could say no. Because it just says upon recommendation, they can say yes.
Well-
But if they don't get it recommended, they can't vote on it.
But the manager right, so the manager goes to council with a balanced budget.
Mhm.
Anything can happen up there. And,
Somebody could propose something and then the manager, but it's still.
and if the
should
manager,
come
it's the
from
manager's
the
budget. If the manager says,
Yeah.
you want to increase police overtime by 100 grand,
Right.
where? I don't know where, on the revenue side, where we're gonna find that.
Isn't that discussed pretty much though before it goes to council in the PPP
Well,
budget meetings?
Hopefully,
That's
I
usually
always
the
hope
case.
that, they ask the town manager questions
Although I think sometimes.
behind closed doors before they got up there and come to councilors forum. But that didn't happen all the time
The problem we
either.
have is they should not be able to by 2/3 voting.
No, they shouldn't.
They should not be able
Can't
to.
increase it without a source of revenue that's
Correct.
recommended, but what if it was, if they're gonna, it should be a 2/3 vote. If anything were to be increased, it should be by 2/3 vote. I think you need a majority of that council saying they agree, but that should be upon recommendation of the man. In other words, the 2/3 vote is okay as long as it was a recommendation.
Correct,
of the
with that
manager.
language in there.
So add something in.
Add that language is good, what was in the old charter.
You add the language, it says upon recommendation of the town, with recommendation of the town manager, it made by 2/3 vote of the full council increase a specific amount, or, something, you know what I mean?
Same thing it says here, except on recommendations of the town manager.
It says it shall not, whereas here it's saying it can. So if you want to leave the can language, you would say except for recommendation, no, upon, not except, but upon recommendation of the town manager. They're giving it as an exception, that they can't do it. Here it's that they can do it. They can do it once it's recommended here too, but they're not specifying the vote. It should be still specified by 2/3 vote. In other words, if you say it like this, then it doesn't blend in with this vote.
Right, you'd have to replace that line.
You'd have to
with
kind of
that.
say it differently.
For me, on the other side of the table, being a finance person, this is the language I would rather have in there.
Right, but then the vote needs to be a 2/3 vote. And you gotta put that
No,
in.
take that away.
Well,
I say,
Yes, but you don't want it to, it still should be a 2/3 vote. You don't think if you're gonna raise something, even if the manager recommends it?
I see what you're saying, yes.
Shouldn't the majority of that council, the super majority of that council believe that we should spend the money? Or do you want to keep it simple majority?
So upon recommendation of the
putting
town
this?
manager,
Where are you putting this? The whole thing you're doing over?
so that sentence,
Well, no,
Yvonne,
you
Which
don't have
one?
to, you could leave it as this, like you said, you just have to change, you have to put the vote in. And such vote needs to, by
so
by 2/3.
we can say,
Using that?
yes, using this, upon recommendation of the town manager, it may by 2/3 vote of the full council, i.e. a minimum, increase any amount in, right?
That's
So
what's
all we're
all in
doing,
there.
nope, all we're doing is adding upon recommendation of the town manager. Where are you?
The town council shall adopt this.
No, 5, and then.
5, delete or decrease any programs.
Right here.
It may, okay.
So, start this sentence with upon recommendation
Yep, of the town manager.
of the town manager, comma, and then leave the rest.
It may by 2/3 vote, okay. Okay, so upon recommendation of the town manager, it may by 2.
Do we want to say
Yes.
recommendation or approval or agreement? What do we want to say there?
How about if
Because he's
we,
not recommending it. He
no,
or
but
she-
I don't like the way that it says it's, we shouldn't, could we say upon recommendation of the town manager, the council may by 2/3 vote?
You can,
Yeah.
yeah.
It would sound better,
Mhm.
right? And then you just put i.e. a minimum of 6 votes.
Do we want to say
increase.
recommendation though? Because he's not recommending it. Do we want to say endorsement of, upon the endorsement of, upon the agreement of?
Upon the determination of the town manager?
But in this case, you like this language. The language was except on recommendations of the town manager.
Yeah.
So just changing it to upon recommendation.
So just change it to upon.
Right, but then you were just saying, should we change it?
I mean, I don't know. How do you guys
Well-
feel about that?
I mean, is it his recommendation because they've talked about it up there and he agrees? You know?
And then that's his
And that's
recommendation.
his recommendation, but then we want that to be clear, so how do we make that clearer, you know?
About the final recommendation of the town manager or something like that? After they've talked about it and, no?
I just don't know what word.
Because in this case, it's accepted, so I think maybe that's why they, I don't know, they wanted to be more empowered, and so it got changed, but except on recommendations
Yes,
of the
that
town
is
manager,
absolutely why
except
that
on
was taken out.
recommendations of the town manager.
So,
So upon, in consultation and upon recommendations of the town manager, in consultations with and upon recommendation of the town manager, town council may vote. I don't know. I don't know if that's strong enough that they can't do it unless.
Well, they're saying that right out in the whole thing is when they adopt the budget, so then if you're just adopting the budget, you've done all the stuff, you're just saying now that you've done all that upon recommendation of the manager, you're letting them increase something, and that's okay with him too, so it makes sense to me.
right.
Right, but are they realizing what we're saying? We're not trying to take the power technically
we're
away
not.
from the council
Correct.
to question things.
Correct.
We're just saying the town manager has the final say in feasibility of what you're recommending. And that is important because he is the financial, he
Correct.
is it. He's the responsible party
Correct.
if things go to pot. Not the councilors might have power to
Can
do
you
a lot
put
of
the word
things. but-
however in front of there? However, upon recommendation of the town manager, the council may, by a 2/3 vote, increase the amount?
I don't know.
I mean, the concern is real, the fact that that's in there and you can just do it. I don't think anybody really, again, sometimes councilors don't know their power, or technically, even though, which is a good thing in a lot of times, I'll say that publicly, it's a good thing. Because, then how does the manager manage to give you a balance? There has to be enough money, there has to be a way to
Right.
appropriate it.
Right. And I understand why that was taken out of there. It was stripping the manager of that
Well, if it's,
power, but in this case, it does give the counselors the power to do that, but it needs to be,
with the manager's recommendation.
right, the
So
manager
if-
has
if
to
we-
be,
Which would then
I don't know if-
certainly induce public discussion at least. So it couldn't be something that just got done. It would have to.
So you can't go to subcommittee and say something else, and then when you get to council, decide you want to increase something.
That's
This
what
would make
that's
you-
happened.
That's what I'm saying. So this would make you think twice about doing it. At least it would show that the manager had to agree to that recommendation.
correct.
I think. Because you, like you said, it's been.
It would also stop the lobbying from, so if, say you're a counselor, you go into the town manager about an idea about changing the budget, not budget item after you see the preliminary, and 10 a.m. says there's just no way that can't be possible. Well, according to this, all that person's got to do is convince 4 or 5 other counselors.
Correct, and that's what I'm,
And even
that's
if the TM says no.
nightmare.
So,
I would
so
never-
if we say it's at the TM, they could all go in and lobby the TM, and he could say whatever. But ultimately, when it's going to be public, it would be known that.
If they try, and he
Right.
says no, pursuant to this section of the charter,
Right.
It
needs to have a
if he has to push back, hopefully that doesn't
Right.
happen.
I mean, they
but-
could try to push that and say, well, who cares if the TM recommends? Again, we have to. Council's the enforcer of the charter, supposedly, or the people are, and the people just need to come to arms and have a revolt if they see something going wrong on a regular basis.
All right, so do we want to keep
I think
upon
so. I think we
recommendation?
should.
Okay.
You?
Okay. Yeah. I
Alright.
think I like this language. So you want to make a note, obviously, that comes language that we reviewed the language on page 18 of the, because it's a different section. It's not 10 in there. It's a section 942. Page 18
Of the old chapter, right? Okay.
of the 1980s,
Yep.
whatever it is, 98 charter.
90,
Okay, his thing is over.
okay.
It's almost over.
I am freezing in here.
1013-1.
I have here that 1013 limitation effective date, Pam to research.
Statute. I have the word statute.
Oh, supply emergency appropriations and reduction of transfer appropriations. Oh, emergency appropriations. Because it needs the approval of the DOR. All right, we're gonna have to hold that again because I still need to look at that.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, don't be.
The Director of Accounts has to approve any emergency appropriations, so I just wanna confirm that, because then it wouldn't take effect immediately upon adoption. There's a process. Okay, we talked about this one already.
Yeah, check plus to it, yeah.
Yeah, we
It
talked
stays
about
as it
it.
is.
Yeah, yep. Okay. Is that it?
Section 15 we changed.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the changes as they are recommended in one document. So I'm going to pull all my notes and cut and paste into one document the changes that we voted on and reviewed, so that when we see them, we know where they go and the order that they're in or whatever, and then we can see the changes because I've crossed out and left red. So
Did we do the chapter 12, the just clarifying the revenue loan orders versus the borrowing?
1221.
Yeah, we haven't, because we're saying we're down, but we're not, I'm looking down. As if we go to 12, what is this? 12 section, 12.1.2, section 2, ineligible discussion comments.
Oh, yeah, number 4, revenue loan orders,
Right.
and number 5, any appropriation for the payment of town's debt. So that, you were gonna ask,
The
well,
treasurer.
Melissa's not here anymore, but Sharon,
Contact the treasurer.
Oh,
yeah.
Sharon.
Are those the same things, or?
Well, when I asked
different?
Melissa about whether the bonds and that kind of thing were the same, she said, yes, they are. But I'll verify it. Any proceeding providing the submission, referral of votes in an election. It says to get clarification from an attorney.
I don't know, revenue loan orders, I think, are the, does council have to sign,
sound-
borrowing paperwork, or does the
They
town
sound-
manager?
No, they sign, the borrowing stuff goes to them, like for that kind of thing. If we
Okay, so
borrow.
that's the difference.
Yep.
So a revenue loan order is just that. It's the actual loan. Do you know what I mean? When, and then an appropriation for the payment of the town's debt or debt service, that's something totally different. That's the budget.
That goes, yeah,
That's the budget. So those are two different things.
okay.
So then it's, okay.
It's fine, yeah.
So it's fine as it is.
Yep, the revenue loan orders are the actual paperwork for the borrowing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 9, do you know any proceedings providing the submission of referral to voters at an election? Any proceeding providing the submission of referral to voters at an election? Clarification.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Right.
First one we talked about.
Right. Okay. And then what discussion currently needs upon president to fix that? Yeah. Fire discussion, okay.
That's what you wanted.
Fix that.
So I gotta talk to Michael, that's why I printed it out.
All right. So we have like 2 things, really? That are
I have
major?
to look at that,
Right, chapter 48?
yeah.
We have to do this 424 thing. I gotta talk to Michael about
Right.
that. He told me next week he'd have time for me, but I just tell him he's gonna have time for me because my time is limited, so. 37 days.
Not that she's counting.
Tomorrow will make 36.
We better deal with you than have to deal with me.
I've been told I can be replaced.
All right. So, what's that?
Alright, so I'm gonna do the minutes will be short this week because it's not much, and then I can do the work on that other stuff.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yep, so I think once it's all put together,
Mm-hmm.
then we'll review it like,
One
Yep.
final thing.
What-
And get some answers. We need some answers
Need
on
some
some
answers from
things,
him
so.
too, so. When can we meet again? You're traveling and stuff?
just this week. I'm here making Christmas happen after
Oh,
this.
I don't even wanna think about, I don't even know where I'm gonna be at Christmas.
Here to be around. So whatever. You want 2 weeks again?
Yeah, give me time to do all that stuff, so it's the 4th, the 11th, the either the 18th, the 19th, the 20th, any time that week.
I can't do the 18th.
Okay.
That's-
So can you do the 19th or the 20th or the 21st?
And I can't do the 21st. Sorry. So the
Okay.
19th or the 20th, the Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, the 19th I have a Zoom at 5, but I can do that, and then, I think it's a Zoom. It's not a Zoom, I think it's a Zoom. So, what, did you say 19th? Yeah, 20th?
20th?
20th? I have a 10, is it the 20th? No, wait a minute. Oh yeah, wait a minute, I could do, oh no, I can't do the 20th.
So the 19th, can you
Definitely
do?
can't do the 20th. I just really have an appointment at 5.
Mm-hmm.
What else do I have? Yeah, I can do the 19th.
Okay.
6, I guess. Yeah.
6 o'clock?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, see. All right. Anything else?
No.
All right. So meeting will adjourn at 7:39 this evening.
Charge review, 6 o'clock, 2019, save.
All the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
In favor.
Unanimous. All present.